teach you slavery at a young age, so you can't even learn about it. They teach you all the U.S. history, all the U.S. bullshit, so you can be, oh, you stand up for the pledge, all type of shit. Yo, these niggas is making black kids stand up for the pledge for a country that enslaved them. Yo, I like that. I feel like I'm too woke. That's the problem. That's the problem. Me saying that I feel like I'm too woke. That's the problem. That's literally why they make it a bad term. That's why they make woke a derogatory term. So niggas look crazy when they talk about shit like this.
In real life, we have emerald tablets, like pieces of information that we don't understand that are said to have some secrets of the universe or whatever. But this shit is real life One Piece, bro. Do you know how many things in One Piece correlate with real life? Motherfucking tablets, nigga, race, politics, government, people, all that shit is the same, bro. Like, bro, if you're watching this video and you can read these tablets, hit my line, bro. Immediately hit my DMs, press the Instagram link, and then slide in my DMs. I'm trying to know what this shit say.
One Piece explains power and politics better than the real world ever could. Because in One Piece, power isn't just force, but it's actually narrative. The world government doesn't just control people with strength, but it controls what people believe. It decides what history is told, who is labeled a criminal, as well as what is called justice. And that's where the real power is. Because pirates aren't feared just because they're dangerous. They're feared because they actually challenge authority. Because they literally refuse to believe the system's version of the truth. And that's why Monkey D. Luffy is deemed so dangerous, is because he isn't political. He doesn't preach and he doesn't try to change the system. What he does is he simply acts freely. And by doing that, he literally exposes it. Every island he steps on while acting freely, he reveals something. Corruption, false justice, or even manufactured fear. And he never showcases these things by words, but he always does through action. And that's the deeper philosophy here. Real power isn't just control over people, but it's control over perception. Because once you control the story, you control how everyone sees reality. And once people accept that story, they literally stop questioning it. And that's how systems maintain control, not through force but through true belief. And that's why characters like Luffy are so disruptive, because they don't fight the system through arguments. They simply live outside of it. And in doing so, they reveal something dangerous. That the system only works if people truly believe in it. And the moment you stop believing in it, it literally starts losing its power. So just think about that.
If you're a One Piece fan, the parallels are just way too similar right now. Like, you can't tell me that the rich billionaire families of the world, like the Rothschilds, the Trumps, that they're not celestial dragons. And then they go and use world militaries, which in this case is some sticking more to the law, while the others care more about the safety and well-being of the islanders in each island.
Like, I don't think I'll ever see a more perfectly written parallel.
Like, just think about Nico Robin and the fact that they sent the world government and the Marines on her just to suppress her because she knew the lost history of the world the past 100 years.
Worst part about it is that they're currently trying to erase history by banning certain books, just like they did in World War II.
Meanwhile, I think we're just all like Robin. We're tired of surviving. We just want to live.
The reason why I love One Piece so much is because it has so many parallels to our actual world. If you actually pay attention to like the world government of One Piece and what's going on, a lot of shit that all the hints he puts and all the shit that's going on in the One Piece world is parallels to what goes on in our world. It's just covered up with them being pirates. Stay woke, money. I ain't gonna say too much more, but stay woke. I'm telling y'all, it's parallel. The corruption, all that was going on in the One Piece world is what goes on in our world. I'm telling y'all. And then they cover the truth with lies. I'm telling y'all.
Did you know One Piece is actually based off a true story? This is something that many people probably don't know, but if you look at it, it is kind of based off of a true story, something that actually happened in real life and in World War II. Whether or not Oda actually drew from it, we don't know. But very basically, let me line it up for you. One Piece is about a bunch of people hopping island to island, fighting bad guys, and trying to find the One Piece, which they think is like a big treasure, right? It draws a lot of resemblance to a story about Yamashita's gold, which is like a long lost treasure lost during World War II by some Japanese general. And if you want to know all the facts about this, I have a long form video about it. You should go check it out. But essentially, there was this Japanese general called the Yamashita. He was like some expert general, and like he fought in World War II. He's called the Tiger of Malaysia. He took over a bunch of different countries like Malaysia and Singapore with very little troops against like the British and the Americans who had a lot of troops, right? And after conquering a lot of Asia, the Japan forces had a lot of treasure, right? And they couldn't just ship it back to Japan because this is the time where the US was entering the war, and so they started to like take back some of the land, so they couldn't just easily ship millions of tons of gold. Okay, not that much, but you know what I mean. Back to Japan to fund their empire. So they decided to hide them in a bunch of caves and a bunch of underground things in the Philippines, because the Philippines is known for having a bunch of caves, tall mountains, big forests, so it was really easy to hide. Finally, like when Japan was finally losing the war and like the Axis were losing, America took over Asia again and stuff, and the British, Yamashita, the general who was known for hiding all this gold, was captured and he was executed for crimes that committed by his soldiers. After that, thousands of people rushed to the Philippines because they heard these rumors about these gold bars and this gold hidden in like booby cave traps and stuff, and booby trapped caves. Jesus. Comes in a new government, new dictator into the Philippines. A corrupt government, something like the world government, who was trying to like silence anyone who was finding any gold or who said they found any gold. And he hired treasure hunters. He even hired psychics to try to figure out where this gold could be. And some people say that he found it and used it to fund the government that he ran. Other people say that the treasure was never found. Other people say that it never existed. And it's just this whole thing, which basically like One Piece. Whether or not Oda drew from it, I don't know, but you should go check out my long form video. Thank you.
Did you know that Nico Robin's tragic backstory from One Piece was actually inspired by a real life event that occurred in ancient Chinese history? As we know, Ohara was actually destroyed when the world government discovered that the island's archaeologists were studying the forbidden poneglyphs and also seeking to learn the unknown truth of the Void Century. The world government then ordered the island's destruction via a buster call that then turned the island and all of its residents to ash. This sad event was actually real, taking place in the Qin dynasty of ancient China, when scholars were executed and their books were burned, as Emperor Shi believed that uneducated people were easier to control. Both obviously being parallels of each other, having the government suppressing the knowledge of citizens through lethal force. Crazy to actually learn that this was a real event. People in ancient times were brutal, but I do think it's cool that Oda puts little historical references like this. It's actually very interesting to learn about. Anyways, as always, let me know what you all think. It's been Dame. Subscribe.
The manga artist of One Piece, Eiichiro Oda, is probably a prophet in my opinion. The story of One Piece is actually so similar to our real world. If you start investigating, it's actually really scary. Like the whole world government thing, where there's this one world government that controls all the other nations, and then there's history that's covered up. Like there's the ancient kingdom with all the crazy advanced technology that's covered up and by the one world government, and then you have these outlaws, these pirates, you have the giants and dragons and stuff. Like it's almost too similar to real life to just be a coincidence. Like I think the author, the manga artist Eiichiro Oda, the one who created One Piece, he knows something. Like he's trying to tell people something with the story. It's just too crazy of a coincidence.